Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. In today's video I want to talk about the upcoming February patch. It is not a secret that I'm very excited about this one, even though some think that it is crazy, I am. So because we are about 7 days out from its live release, based on the PTR cycle in previous months, I thought I would talk about a few things we can do to prepare. First, I will say, I know a lot of you are playing other games right now, like Lost Ark, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, and so on, and I do not blame you. Things have gotten very stale lately in New World with everyone doing nothing but grinding mutations. But I will say, with only an hour or so each day, you can put yourself in a lot better of a position when this patch drops. I've been playing other games more lately also, but I have been prepping this stuff, and I believe that all of you should also, if you want to be in the strongest place you can be, to both progress and make some gold. So the first thing I recommend you do is take advantage of the lower populations and gather the resources that have been in the past very difficult to get. I know there are still a lot of bots, but because there are less players at the moment, the orichalcum you can find in places like the Imperial Palace and other places where bots don't go, you will now find are a lot less contested. So if you need these, now is the time to gather them and stockpile them. This leads me to another thing I've been doing to prepare, which is stockpiling Tier 3 smelting crates. As you know, in this patch we are finally getting the smelting set. This will be found in smelting crates, more specifically Tier 3 smelting crates only. So having a good amount of those stockpiled is a great idea. Now I know the mats to hit Tier 3 over and over can get very expensive, and I also had experienced that early on. But then I noticed that the total cost of all the materials to make one orichalcum ingot only came to about 45% of the sell value of an orichalcum ingot. So I invested, and it has paid off. When I started, I had 135k coin, not a fortune by anyone's standard, and I placed a buy order for 30k star metal ore and 8k orichalcum ore to start, which was crazy expensive, I'm not gonna lie, gave me buyer's remorse. Anyway, my buy orders quickly started filling and I began processing, and now 22 tier 3 smelting crates later, I am at 152k gold, and still have buy orders going, because every time I process them, I would flip the orichalcum ingots back to other people's buy orders. This is an amazing way to produce as many smelting crates as you could ever want. The next thing I recommend, that goes against the recommendation of every other video I've ever seen, is to buy up 500 to 1000 Azoth bottles. I know they are reducing the cost of Azoth travel, which is exactly why I bought them, because in the next line of the patch notes, they also say we'll be adding a new feature in an upcoming patch that will utilize Azoth. Now I'm thinking, what could this be? And I want to be prepared. And right now Azoth is basically free because everyone is trying to unload it, so I'm going to stock some for later. You of course do not have to do this, but I always like to be prepared because as we know, if they do add something cool later to utilize it, some jackass will buy it all up and repost it for 200 gold per. The next thing I have been doing is running Outpost Rush 2, 3, 4 times a day even, depending on the queue times, and have been stockpiling the crates. As we know, the rewards from these crates are getting a bump, and although there is not actually a better chance at legendaries, they did improve the potential perks, and they added jewelry, and getting jewelry with decent perks is a huge pain in this game. So I want to have a bunch saved for when the patch goes live to fish some potential jewelry pulls. Yes, the loot is determined on opening, not on acquire of the crates. Another thing I recommend is to make your gypsum casts each day, even if you are 600 gear score, but again, do not open them. They have changed the amount of umbral shards you receive from opening a gypsum cast when at gear score 600, so you will get a huge amount now. I tested this on the PTR and it was amazing. I got a weapon to gear score 614 from 2 casts, so this will definitely be worth having stockpiled to give your character a nice boost. This brings me to my next recommendation that you will once again question. Make all of your mutation orbs, and if you do not have a group to run them with, save them. I know you're thinking, but why? People can get umbrals so many other ways now. Why save them? Well, here's why. Many people had quit mainly because they felt they would never even experience a mutation because they were behind and got frustrated trying to get into them with subpar gear. These changes do, yes, make getting umbrals easier, but this has another effect. It lowers the barrier of entry to mutations, and people who had no shot of going before now will. So it will actually serve to increase the demand over the current mutation orbs. And yes, they have lowered the cooldown on the faction shop to 3 days, but this is still limiting and some people will just want to keep running them because some of those weapons from mutations have perks people want to have very badly. If you have no plans to go for the smelter set or any of that kind of shit on your own, there is still a huge opportunity here. The day the patch drops, many people are going to log in, and whether they stay or not is up in the air. But as always, they will log in that day to try the new stuff. so stockpile flux, ores, and stuff like that, especially charcoal because it is so easy to farm, and post it about 30 minutes after the patch drops. By this time, the current market will be draining and the prices will skyrocket. This is when you post your stuff and make a fortune off people who did not stockpile the crates and now have to have it for the completionism. And my final recommendation is to stop doing any quests in Reekwater and Shattered Mountain. These quests will of course give gypsum orbs as a reward after the patch. And no, not the faction quests, all side quests and all steps. As you can see here, I was testing this on the PTR and it is awesome. Okay guys, I have been receiving a bunch of questions about prep and thought I would make this quick video in the hopes that it might help some of you out there have some ideas on what to do. And many of these, you can do no problem in between your Lost Ark cooldowns. I wouldn't even expect people to be 100% dedicated at the moment to New World, but if you are like me, it is important to still be prepared. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.